Let's wait for people to join in. I will start it at the appropriate time. I think some more people are slowly joining us. Thank you for coming in early. Hi Gautam, a very good morning. Gautam, there seems to be too much background sound from your end. Please mute yourself. Thank you.
Good morning, ma'am. I'm Sunita Pandey.
Okay.
Okay.
Please change your name on the Zoom.
Sure, ma'am. Sure, ma'am.
Because I didn't know it was, right? I can only interact with you based on your names over here. So please make sure that it reflects. Thank you. Just wait for some more people to join us. Quite a few of them are joining in. Again, good morning to all of you. If you have a moment, can you talk a little bit about yourself? Can you tell me a little bit, Sunita? Can you talk a little bit about yourself? Can you tell me where you're from, what exactly you're doing, etc.? Sunita?
Hello, ma'am.
Yes. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
This is Sunita Pandey. I'm housewife and I have 2 kids. And I have graduate in economics subjects. And I'm very friendly and I'm good.
That's wonderful to hear. Thank you so much, Sunita. You were a wonderful sport introducing yourself. I am just waiting for more people to join us. So as we wait, that's why I just thought it would be nice to introduce ourselves. And I appreciate the fact that the 3 of you came early and joined us at a very nice time. Okay. As you know, I'm not sure if the 3 of you were there for the previous session. This time as well, we will be continuing with business vocabulary. So it will be a continuation from the previous session, but don't worry, I will catch you up, whatever you have missed out on. Hi Shaji, a very good morning to you. Darling, there seems to be a lot of background sound from your end. Please mute yourself if that's the case.
Sure. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, Darling.
Starting time, I can hear you. So.
All right.
Now, is this time clear?
Yes, it's clear. We can hear you as well. Make sure that you don't have too much background noise. That's about it. Otherwise, it's completely fine to switch on your video and audio. If you're comfortable, you can switch on your video. No problem at all. We are just waiting for a few more people to join in. And yeah, basically, we will start in the next 1 or 2 minutes. So don't worry about that. May I know who is SD? Very good morning to you. Hi Ajit, a very good morning to you. Good morning everyone, good morning. On a Sunday and coming to our workshop. It's wonderful to see you all here. I do see some familiar, oh, it's Sonali Doshi. All right, Sonali. Cool way to shorten your name. Some more people are joining us, so let us wait. All right. Let us take this 5 minutes to maybe if you want to introduce yourself, you want to talk about anything, this is a good time to do so till more people enter our meeting. Okay. So as you know, today's of course workshop is going to be on business vocabulary. Last time we did part 1. This time we are doing part 2.
Hello, ma'am. Good morning.
Good morning, Nikhil. Hope you're doing well. I hope everyone is keeping well in these tough times. Glad to see everyone is still productive. Everyone is still joining in workshops. Good to see you all, each and every one of you, for taking the time out and joining us at this event. Lots of people are joining us. So just give me some time till I let them all in. I don't want to start before they all enter in safely.
Okay, sure, ma'am.
Thank you, Nikhil. Of course, everyone, if this is your first meeting, just a few things. You can obviously switch on your video. It would be nice to see you all. If you feel that your surroundings are not very noisy, please feel free to switch on your microphone as well. You can use the chat box over there to ask any doubts, to ask any suggestions or anything. The chat box is open. You can wish each other, you can talk to each other. The best thing about such a workshop is that so many diverse people meet up. Hi, Soma. Hi, I can see that quite a lot of faces have joined us. Jaya, hello. Drishti and
Hello, ma'am.
Archana, hello. And we have Archana, of course, Pratik had also joined us, Soma, and Sunita, of course, changed her name again from HT. Jasleen, a very good morning to you. If I might miss out someone, I'm very sorry. Okay. All right. I am just going to share my PPT now. Please let me know if you can see it. Okay. All right. And another thing that I want to add is that right after this session at 12 o'clock, Chintan sir will also be taking a very exciting session for all of us. So please stay tuned even after 12. Okay. So we have so many exciting things lined up for today. So I hope everyone can see the PPT. If you can't, please add a message on the chat box so that I can reshare if required. I hope you can hear and see me very clearly. If there is any trouble, you always know you can use the chat box to let me know. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Anybody having any trouble? Everybody is doing okay? Everybody can see the PPT that I've shared? Is it all crystal clear? All right, someone's having a lot of background sound. Please kindly mute yourself. Feel free to switch on your videos. It will be good to see you all. All right, someone has said something on chat. All is okay. Thank you, Sunita. All right.
Good morning, ma'am.
So, a very good morning, Shivam. A very good morning to you. All right, so now I'm going to start. Last time we did business vocabulary part 1. So a lot of familiar faces are there over here today. Quite a few of you were there last time as well. Can one person volunteer to help me sum up what we did last time? Please use the raise hand option. You have that option on Zoom. You can use it and you can volunteer if at all you are into it. All right, Jitendra, we'll have someone to get in touch with you. All right, so let us now recap what we did last time. Last time, we learned why do we need to have a good vocabulary. We learned what is business vocabulary. We learned how to develop a business vocabulary, and we learned a few words related to jobs and work and how to talk about your work. So basically, I'm going to shortly explain what we learned last time. Why do we need to have good vocabulary? So that we can speak fluently, right? So that we can speak fluently. We can, communicate better. What is business vocabulary? When you're working in a particular field or when you're working in a corporate environment, there are a certain set of rules and words that you must be very well aware of. It is very important. That is what is called as business vocabulary. How to develop your business vocabulary, we also saw this. We saw that we need to read books, we need to listen to podcasts, we need to read a lot of, need to watch a lot of documentaries. read a lot, and also make sure that we learn a certain set number of words a day. Okay? We learn some vocabulary on work and jobs. Can anyone help me out in talking about what are the new words that you learned last time? Soma, would you mind doing it? Last time, I remember that you were there last time. If you are up to it, can you talk about some of the words that we spoke about last time? All right. So these are all the kind of words. We learned words like part-time work, full-time work. We learned a lot of things. So now let us get started with some other new words that I'll be tackling this session. Okay. In this session, we will be tackling words that you will come across when you are in the selection process towards some work. What does the selection process mean? Now, suppose you found a job posting. You are applying for it. From then on, when the HR person gets in touch with you, when you go for interviews, these are all things that come under the selection process. Okay, so now I'm going to go over the words one by one. If you have any doubts, feel free to ask. Okay, let's go over the first word. Applicant, a person who requests or seeks something such as assistant or employment. Now, whenever you are applying to, of course, the applicant, the applicant. Candidate, one that seems likely to gain a certain position. Now, who's a candidate? Similar to, of course, the word applicant, the word candidate also means someone who's applying, someone who seems likely to gain a certain position at work. Then let's talk about the word reference. The giving of the name of another person who can offer information or recommendation. I'm sure all of us are aware of this word, recommendation. Anytime you are going for a new job, most companies, especially if they are very big MNCs, they will ask, do you have any recommenders? Do you have anyone to recommend? Now, who is a recommender? Someone who vouches for you. Someone who says, yes, I know this person, I have worked with them. They are good at so and so things, right? Just what is reference? When you're giving the name of another person who can offer or vouch for you. Any doubts in any of these, feel free to ask. Group discussion. That was the first workshop that we did on group discussion. What did we learn? We learned it is an exchange of views where a certain topic is given and a lot of us sit and deliberate and talk. Now, of course, the final word, interview. What is an interview? It is a conversation between two or more people where questions are asked by an interviewer to obtain information from an interview. Now, basically, what happens in an interview? You are sitting in front of the interviewer. The interviewer can be a HR personnel at work. It can be a person. It can be a manager. You try to understand about you. They try to realize what you are good at, what you're not good at, what has been your experience, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses. That's what an interview is for. Anyone, any doubts on any of these words? Please feel free to let me know. Otherwise, I'm moving on to the next slide. Anyone, anything? All right. Let us, of course, go on to the word itself, selection process. The methods a company use to recruit. Now, we all know what recruitment means. It is the process of finding new employees. A process from the side of companies when they put out an ad, when they put out a profile that they require, that comes under recruitment. Okay. Psychometric tests. Now, these are very, very interesting. I highly suggest you look it up even after this workshop. Now, what are psychometric tests? Psychometric tests are tests designed to measure various aspects of a person's skills, abilities, and personalities. To put it in a very simple way, they are personality tests. What you're good at, whether you are an introvert, whether you are an extrovert, these are all things that comes under the psychometric tests. Two tests that most companies use, especially MNCs, are the Big Four and the MBTI test. Full form of MBTI is Myers Myers-Briggs test indicator. I highly suggest that all of you take some time out and take these tests because they are very informative. You learn a lot about yourself. You learn a lot about your own personality, what you're good at, etc. Okay. Now there is a phrase that I have put over there as well. You will see how we can use it in the terms of this selection process. To turn something down, to refuse. Now over here, what the something would be? Maybe a job offer, maybe a pay package. When you turn something down, you refuse it. I turned down a job offer from so and so. Right. Who are referees now? Let us go back to the word that we just learned. References, recommenders. Jashleen, you're very loud. Your background is very loud, so I'm muting you. Please mute yourself. What is background? Whenever interviewers ask you, what is your background? A person's social heritage, previous experience, or training. In short, I'm sorry, it is too short. It's actually correct. It is in short. When you talk about your background, your educational qualifications, where you're from, what you have studied, what you have done. All of that comes under a background. Now, I think Jitendra, I had asked a question on that, if I'm not wrong. How can I develop daily use vocabulary if you have any PDFs in it? Like I said in short before, you can develop your daily vocabulary by watching a variety of content, specifically English movies, that also, documentaries would be better, serious documentaries rather than entertainment movies, which use a lot of informal language. Books, I would highly suggest Word Power Made Easy. It is a very famous book and you can easily find a PDF of it online. I hope that clears it up, Jitendra. Now I'm going on to the next slide. Any doubts in any of this that anybody has, feel free to ask. You can obviously drop a message on the chat box. Okay. Now let's talk about skills. Okay. So how do you talk about your skills? How do you talk about skills that you will achieve? Now, what does the word skill mean? Can anyone let me know? Can anyone raise up an answer? Does anyone know what the word skills means? Anyone? It's very quiet today. I must say I'm surprised. Anyone? Okay. Move on. Let us go ahead. The word skills means things that you are able to do, what you're talented. That's what comes under skills. Okay. So now let us look at some of the ways that you can talk about your skills and talents, or some of the ways that you can assess what the other person can do. Okay. To go on courses, to take lessons. For instance, when you're talking about something that you're improving in yourself. For instance, you are trying to improve your language, you're trying to improve your vocabulary. So you would say that I'm going to take a course, or also I'm going to take lessons, or I'm going to go on courses. My voice isn't clear. Is everybody facing that problem? Anyone having a problem with my voice? Neelam, please try connecting your audio once again. Jashleen, is my voice clear or not? I am not very sure because of your answer. Is it a problem that everyone is facing? Please do let me know. Okay.
Your voice clear.
Okay, thank you, Dalim. Thank you so much. Voice is clear. Neelam, please connect yourself then. Connect your audio again properly and then check it out. Okay. Please pay close attention. It would be better if you wore earphones or something like that, because as we are hosting a meeting, sometimes it just happens that when you're using just a standalone speaker, it becomes very difficult. So please feel free to use a earphone or earbuds, whatever you have in hand. Okay. I'm going to go back to this, how we talk about skills, etc. Okay, how you assess as well as talk about your own skills. To take lessons. Now, what you're doing right now is taking a lesson. Why? To upgrade yourself. Now, what does the word upgrade mean? I think it is a very common word, the word upgrade. means to improve yourself. It means to improve yourself. It means to take that step. How do you upgrade yourself? By taking lesson, by going on a certain course. Now, of course, the word qualification is something that we did see even in the selection process. It is a quality and accomplishment that fits a person for some function. For instance, if you are applying for the role of a pharmacist in the pharmacy field, of course, your qualifications must relate to that. You must be having a degree that relates to that. You can't be from one background and jump to the other. That's what we mean by qualification. What are the accomplishments? What are the qualities of yours that fit a certain profile, a certain job profile, or even a certain education profile? Yes. Okay, now let us go on. Who are graduates? I'm sure all of us have been graduates at some point. We are just people who have left the universities, or some of us are still in the process of becoming graduates. And of course, when you do your bachelor's degree, you are an undergraduate. If you have done your master's degree, you are either a master's student or a postgraduate. Okay. Now, in-house training. Sometimes when MNCs are really big, okay, really huge, they have in-house training. In-house means courses within the company. In-house. Everything is provided. There will be a trainer in the company itself, and the company itself will provide the training. In-house training. Now, what kind of trainings do companies provide? To give you a very short example, soft skills is one. What is soft skills? How do you talk? How do you behave? How do you speak? Communication skills. Another one may be things like stress management, time management, personality building. These are all things that certain MNCs do provide. Okay, to acquire, when you are trying to talk about how you acquire, to come in possession of something. When somebody asks you, how did you acquire this skill? Then you will say, I acquired this skill by so and so, so and so. Okay, work experience, the accumulation of knowledge or skill during work. Yes. Work experience relates only to all of the working knowledge that you have picked up from maybe working for an organization. Sometimes even internships are also considered in some cases, especially if you are a fresher, as a sort of work experience or a pre-work experience, if you will. Any doubts in this slide? Anything that you want to ask? Anyone? Please feel free to add, or if you find that you have some other words that you want to talk about, absolute freedom to do so. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to the next slide. So what did we see? We saw selection process. We saw how to talk about your skills. Now we are going on to the stage of employment. What happens when you are employed? What are all some vocabulary that you would come across in the stage of employment? Okay, let us talk about the first one. Personnel. Personnel. Now, do you look at the spelling? It is a little bit different. It is not the word person. It is a little bit different. Personnel. The people who work for a firm. Now, what is a firm? It's like a corporation. It is like a huge company, sort of company. It is called as personnel. Okay. Personnel officer, manager responsible for recruitment, training, and welfare of personnel. Now, personnel officer has a lot of names. Okay, here we call them HR. We call them in a variety of ways. Okay, personnel officer is someone who is responsible for recruitment. We saw what recruitment is. When companies go through to finding new people to fill jobs at their company. Okay, and training. Of course, we just spoke about in-house training. When you talk about call centers, a lot of call centers have in-house training, wherein they have someone to do the soft skills for their employees. They have some sort of, yes, yes, Suresh, if you don't mind me calling you that. Yes, Suresh, you have raised your hand. Please speak. Unmute yourself and speak, please. Suresh. All right, I haven't had any response from you. If at all you want to speak, please let me know. Yes, Suresh, you unmuted yourself. Tell me, your hand is raised.
Wait, ma'am, wait. Arey, hand tegi.
Hello? Yeah, please unmute, please mute yourself, okay? All right. Okay. What is promotion? I'm sure Hello? Suresh, if you have anything to say, please say it, or else please mute yourself. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
All right.
Okay, okay.
Now, what is... Thank you, Suresh. Thank you so much. All right. Now, what is promotion? It is advancement in rank or position. I'm sure it's like a very nice word. Other than the word bonus that we learned last time, promotion is also a very nice word to hear. It's an advancement in rank or position. You're getting new responsibilities. It is a change in your work profile. Promotions are most certainly a very good thing. Prospects. Now, we did this word last time, if anyone can remember. We did it in terms of career prospects, right? Remember, whenever you, last time we were talking about job and work, we discussed how we will talk about the career prospects of something. What is career prospects? The opportunity for success, promotion, etc. Prospects itself basically means opportunity. What is opportunity? A chance, how you can grow. Okay. Any doubt in this slide, please feel free to add. And as Suresh has shown us, obviously when you raise your hand, you do have my attention and I will most certainly resolve it. Okay. Now, let us look at some more words related with employment. I'm sure a lot of these terms are quite familiar, but before we bring up other words, we need to learn these as well and make sure that our meanings are very clear. Retire, to leave employment, especially because of age. Yes, I'm sure we have all heard of this. Retired, retirement, retirees, people who are retired. Can anyone tell me what is the age of retirement in India as an employee when you can retire?
Yeah, it's I guess 58, 60 years old now.
Okay. Yes, another person.
60, 62 different tools
60,
are there.
62. Different ones. Thank you, Jyoti.
Hi.
Hello. Jyoti is someone who's is actually a professor of law, so I think I will defer to her when she says that there are different rules for this.
Okay.
Thank you, Jyoti.
Thank you, Shweta.
All right. Now, another word that all of us are always concerned about. When it's the first day of the upcoming month, this is the word that all of us wake up to find out: salary. Did my salary get credited to my account? A fixed regular payment, usually monthly, made by the employer to employee. Yes, salaries are fixed and regular, and hopefully they all come in the date that we expect them to. All right. Recruit. Of course, we have been through this word before, but sometimes I put some terms again and again so that you understand the different ways that it can be used. And you also understand how, basically, I just want you to remember it really well. That's it. Of course, you also saw resign. We saw resignation. It is to give up a job. Okay. Now, let us look at the word resignation. Okay. It is very different from retirement, of course. When you're resigning a job, it doesn't matter how old you are. Maybe you have a better job in hand. Maybe you have a better career prospect. Maybe you just want a break from working. Lots of reasons. People have lots of reasons for resigning. Okay? And when you resign, you provide a letter of resignation. I think I hear background noise from someone. Can you please mute yourself if it's so? Thank you. All right. So, what happens when you give a letter of resignation? Usually in India, after you give a letter of resignation, there's something called as a notice period. Now, we discussed this as well last time, but I'm still bringing it up. What is a notice period? It is a certain period that you will work for the company, maybe a month or two, depending on the company rules. What do you do in this period? Usually, you have to finish whatever projects that you have taken up or started. And after that, you will obviously, in this notice period, you will obviously help out. If there's a new employee being recruited by the company, you will also help them. Anybody have any doubts or anything to add to this slide? Please let me know. Before that, I'm going to have a bit of reading in the next slide. If anybody wants to volunteer, please, that would be great. It's a bit of reading and it will be a bit of discussion as well amongst us. So if any one of you all are interested to volunteer, please you can use the raise hand option to volunteer and read. Anyone? Yes, Nikhil, go ahead. You can read the first three.
Yeah, ma'am.
First three sentences. Go ahead.
Read and understand. Unfortunately, my brother doesn't have a job. Madhvi is on uh, bereavement leave for a few days. Her cousin died last night. This Diwali, my co-worker and I are buying present for poor kids.
Thank you, Nikhil. Two more participants have raised their hands. Soma, go ahead. Thank you, Nikhil. Soma, you can read the next two. Okay, you can read the next two. Go ahead.
Okay, ma'am. I will be right here. Just let me go to the bathroom first. Did you hear that management has hired some people?
Yes. Soma, wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much now. Thank you. Minu. Minu, please unmute yourself. It's your turn to read. You can read the last two sentences. Minu,
Yes,
unmute yourself. Yes, please read.
yes. This
A lot of audio feedback at your end. Yes, go ahead, read.
out of my price range.
Minu, I'm sorry, but your audio is a little bit jarring.
Once a minute.
Yes, there's a lot of. Neelam, I'll let you read. There's some more slides coming up. You will get your chance to read. Okay, Minu, try if you can read. If you can fix your audio and read because there's a lot of feedback. Yes, please start again. The last two ones.
This is out of my price range. Maybe I should consider buying a used car. If does not like to spend money on things he does not need.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Meenu. Just a few things. This word is bereavement. Bereavement. We will discuss what the meaning is and everything, but let us work on the pronunciation. This one is doesn't. This word is doesn't. Okay, now, few other participants have also raised their hands. Let me see who it is. Dalim. Okay. Dalim, please unmute yourself. I want you to tell me what is in a corporate setting, is it all right to speak like this? What were your thoughts? Dalim, if you can unmute yourself and say that, it will be good. Would you be comfortable saying that?
Sorry, ma'am, repeat your question.
Okay. What I wanted to understand is this let's take the first sentence, okay? Can you speak this sentence in a professional setting? Just say yes or a no. That's it.
No, ma'am.
Yes, very good. Very good. Now let's discuss why. We will of course discuss the meanings of these sentences, but let us understand why. You know, in communication, what I'm actually whenever I talk about communication, this is something that I always say. Yes, you have to be open and honest, but some things must be put forward in a very diplomatic manner. These sentences, though grammatically correct, sort of grammatically correct, do not have it. They are not diplomatic. They are on your face. Now let us discuss these sentences and see why it is not right to use such kind of words in a formal setting. When I say formal setting, I bring it up to professional corporate setting. Maybe you're at work speaking to someone, maybe you're talking about certain, what do you say, uncomfortable topics, or maybe you're talking about some topics that you're talking about. Obviously, as human beings, we have to communicate. We are social creatures. But let us see why you can't communicate in this way. Okay? Unfortunately, my brother doesn't have a job. This is a personal matter, but the way it is put across is a bit too on the nose. Doesn't have a job. Let us see what kind of words that we can use instead of this and why we shouldn't use this as we go ahead. Madhavi is on bereavement leave for a few days. Her cousin died last night. Now, what does bereavement leave mean? Last time we saw paternity leave. When an employee has a child, when an employee is, having a child, we take a few days off. Now, what is bereavement leave? When they have gone through a loss, when they have lost something important or close to them, they go for video. I don't know how common it is nowadays, but it is something that is considered. This Diwali, my co-workers and I are buying presents for poor kids. Co-workers, colleagues, people whom you work with. Remember, whenever you have sentences where there is another person and you, as in this sentence, my co-workers and I, you will always put yourself in the second. Little bit of background sound. Whoever please has their audio on, please mute yourself. Thank you. You will always put yourself second. Why? First, to show politeness. Always put yourself second. I will be right there. Just let me go to the bathroom first. I have noticed this comes up a lot. Even in professional setting, people end up using the word bathroom. Now we'll have to see what other word that we can do because it's not very correct. Did you hear that the management has fired some people? What is firing in this context? Fired some people, dismissing them. But you can't speak like this in a professional setting. This is out of my price range. Maybe I should consider buying a used car. Second hand. Nowadays we call it second hand. Pre-loved. He's cheap and doesn't like to spend money on things he doesn't need. Now when it comes to cheap, stingy and things like that, such words, it is better to not use them. Like I said before, corporate communication or business communication is very diplomatic. So now we are coming to the main parts of what you must use and what are euphemisms. Okay. Now what are euphemisms? Euphemisms are a sort of euphemisms are the nice way of saying things. They are the diplomatic way of saying some things. Okay. So now let's look at euphemisms and the workplace. Now, what is workplace? Another word is office, where you work, etc. So let's go point by point. Euphemism, the pronunciation, euphemisms. Please be aware the pronunciation, you must be very careful. Euphemisms are vague expressions we use to replace something blunt and direct. Yes, they are vague. By vague, what does it mean? They are not to the point. They're usually a little bit very, going back to the previous word, diplomatic. Blunt means what? On the face. Saying something directly, fired and things like that. They are very on the face. They are very blunt. Okay. There are many euphemisms that we use in the workplace. Yes, indeed. We will be seeing some of them in this session. Deeply rooted in social life and have great influence on social communications. Coming back to euphemisms, deeply rooted means it's a very important part. What is social life? Our interactions with each other. Interpersonal communication, mass communication, all of that comes under social life and have great influence on social communications. Yes, they do. They obviously do, because when you communicate with someone using euphemism and the way that you see how the sentence will change, it is too much. Okay. Okay. Euphemisms have fast and close relationships with the business culture, and it reflects the life and values of professionals. Yes, it has a very close relationships, and there are a certain ways that it reflects the values. When you hear someone who speaks diplomatically, it also reflects on your place that you work. Remember, whenever you go somewhere, you are also representing the place that you work. You become a representative. It is always best to be inoffensive and politically correct. Inoffensive, not causing any offense. Politically correct. Now, this is a more recent term that we use. What is politically correct? Again, going back, where you don't cause offense to someone, where you don't cause harm to someone. Okay. So now I'm going to go through some euphemisms with you. And after we go through the euphemisms, we will go back to the sentences that we read before and we will replace them with the euphemisms and see how much diplomatic it turns out. Okay. I think Neelam had raised her hand, if I am not wrong, for reading, but I couldn't let her read. Neelam? Neelam? You
Hello.
open to reading? Yes, you had raised your hand, right, for reading?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, please read. Go ahead and read this slide.
Okay, first, rich, wealthy, well-to-do, well-off. Poor, economically disadvantaged, needy, in need. Unemployed, out of work, between jobs, to fire,
Yes, Neha.
to, to
Thank
lay
you so
off.
much.
Okay.
Thank you. Quite a few more people have also raised. I think it is the same as last time. So it is just Nikhil, Dalim, and Soma. I think I'll give you another turn. Kavita, they have already read. So Kavita, please go ahead. Kavita, please read the rest. You can read. You can read three. You can read three from fire to quit. Go ahead, Kavita.
Okay, ma'am.
Please unmute yourself and read.
To fire, to lay off, to let someone go, to terminate, to downsize, to restructure, to quit, to resign, to leave the company.
Thank
Sorry,
you.
ma'am,
Now
if
let
my
us.
voice is not good. I'm little bit under the weather.
You're under the, oh man, but you're using all the idioms, Kavita. Very good. But please take care of yourself. Good that you're using the idioms, but please take care of your health. Okay? All right.
Yes.
Jashli, I can see that you've raised your hand. You can read the last three. Go ahead.
Pay, salary, compensation, compensation plan, boss, supervisor, manager, secretary, administrative assistant, personal assistant.
Thank you so much, Jashleen. You have a very nice voice, very melodious voice.
Thank you.
Someone background sound, Tejashvi. I think I hear some background noise at your end. Just mute. Thank you. All right. Now you see how the sentences can change. The moment you replace them with the euphemisms. Rich becomes wealthy, well-to-do, well-off. Nowadays, another word, if anyone can tell me, is privileged. It's a very common word we use nowadays. Privileged. Poor becomes economically disadvantaged, needy, in need. Nowadays, we use the word underprivileged. Underprivileged. Unemployed, yes, you'll always say, I'm out of work. Between jobs. Between jobs is like the best one. Suppose you are hunting for a job hunting is fine. If you're actively looking for a job hunting, looking for a job. Suppose you're unemployed, you haven't found any job as of yet, you will say between jobs. To fire. Remember, we had a sentence where it was said on the face, they fired someone. You say you lay off someone. You let someone go. Someone is like the name. For instance, if the person who's getting fired is named Pani, we have let Pani go. To terminate. Downsize to restructure. Now, downsize and restructure are very common words. I remember last year in the pandemic, quite a few companies downsized. What do they do in downsize? Downsize is like a large scale sort of a thing where lots of people are fired. Maybe a department or something. They are made redundant. To make redundant means what? Not required. Structure. Now, this is another word that they use, a very dangerous word. When a company is saying that, we are restructuring, dangerous words. What does restructuring mean? We are leveling the company. We are going to take off certain layers in the management scale and we are firing employees. To quit. Yes, resign is a good word to say, I'm going to resign. I'm going to leave the company. Instead of just saying I quit. It's much more polite. Pay. A better word is, of course, salary. Instead of, when you are asking, like, what is the pay? It is actually not a good question to ask. We never, remember, it's never a good thing to ask someone, how much do you earn, what is your salary, etc. It's actually considered to be very rude. When it comes to etiquette, these are some lines that we should never cross, no matter how close we are to a certain person. What is the compensation? What is the compensation plan? These are questions that you can speak to when you are speaking with your HR in terms of what is my pay? What will be my compensation? What are some compensation plans? Yes, there's a personal chat. Yes, Jyoti, thank you so much. I hope you had a good time. Thank you so much for letting me. Bye. See. Boss. Another word, supervisor, manager. It's always better. The word boss has a lot of negative connotation. I'm sure we have seen the very funny movie Boss Baby. Of course, in that sense, it's very cute and it's very funny, but otherwise, it's better to use the word supervisor or manager. Okay. Okay, someone else is also, I don't understand, please explain. Yes, I will explain. Don't worry. Secretary. Now, this is a word that I personally take a lot of offense to because usually it is assumed that women are secretaries. It's always better nowadays to use the word administrative assistant or personal assistant. Let's avoid using the word secretary as much as possible because it has a lot of gender related issues wherein it assumes that only a certain gender can do a certain job, which is absolutely not true. Okay, someone had a doubt. Somebody wanted it to be explained again. Shubham Raj. Okay, so basically, I'm just going through what these euphemisms are. Instead of rich, when you are at work, you will not say he's a rich man. No, he's a privileged person. He's a wealthy person. Well, do. These are some words that we will stop using. The words on the left that you see are words that we will stop using when we are at work. The words on the right, the other euphemisms that I've given you, these are words that we will start using in our day-to-day life whenever we are at work. Why? Because we want to sound very polished. I hope that cleared it up. If you still have any other doubts, please feel free to add on chat Shubham, if at all. Okay. Anybody having any doubts in any of these euphemisms? Anything? There are some more euphemisms. If there is anyone, again, I open the floor to all of you. If anybody wants to read, 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm sorry, you're very having quite a bit of noise in your background. Please mute yourself. Also, one more thing I would like to tell you all is that 1, 2, 3, 4, please mute yourself. Please mute yourself. Yes, as much as possible, whenever you enter a Zoom meeting, it is better that you enter in with your own name so that it becomes easy, especially in terms of workshops, it becomes easier for us to call you, etc. Okay. Anybody else? Quite a few people have already read. I would like it if some other volunteers came up. If not, I will read. Don't worry. If anybody else is volunteering, because we have quite a few people read. Nikhil read, Soma read. They have already read. If anybody else wants to read, you can obviously, this is a good time for you to raise your hand and for us to go through this. Anybody? Yes, Nikhil. Since you have already done, Soma's already done as well. Okay, Purushottam. Nikhil and Soma, just give me some time. Let us give some other people a chance as well. Okay, Purushottam Kumar. He has raised his hand. Please unmute yourself and read.
To owe money to have an outstanding payment. Cheap person, fuel thrifty. Okay. Bathroom restroom. Problem issue. Very concerned. Use pre-honored.
That's okay. That's the same thing repeated. My bad. Same thing repeated. You don't have to read the last three. That's the same thing that got repeated. Okay. All right. Thank you, Purushottam. Thank you so much. Just a few things about your pronunciation. Be very conscious of this. Okay. To owe money, to have an outstanding payment. Cheap person, someone who's frugal, someone who's very thrifty. Thrifty. Thrifty means someone who's very economical. Yes. Yeah, no worries, Purushottam. Instead of bathroom, please always use the word restroom or even washroom is fine. As much as possible, let's not use bathroom when we are at work. Problem will obviously become issue. Worried will become concerned. Used will become pre-owned. Another word that is even more in use nowadays is pre-loved. Nowadays we say pre-loved. We also say second-hand, but you can use pre-owned and pre-loved. Now let us go back to these sentences. Let us look at how, using euphemisms, these sentences will change. Okay, let us look at the first sentence. Unfortunately, my brother is between jobs. You wouldn't see it doesn't have a job. Between jobs. Madhvi is on bereavement for a few days. Her cousin passed away. We never say that. It's always better to use the word passed away. Yes, someone raised their hand. Junaid, yes. Please
Yeah.
unmute and tell.
Very good morning, Sweta. I'm sorry to interject. Sweta, I just want to understand pre-loved.
Yes.
How
Okay.
we can use in sentence.
We'll get to that, no? Because we have a sentence over here that is in which that word will be used.
Okay, thank you. No problem. Carry on.
Anyway, we never say died, we say passed her. Or we say she lost her cousin. These are very serious topics. It's good to be as sensitive as possible. We never use the word die or death lightly. Never use. This is something that I will always tell you because people have a lot of pain, especially in these difficult times. Let us be sensitive to someone's struggle. This Diwali, my co-workers and I are buying presents for underprivileged kids. Underprivileged kids. Or you could say needy kids is not the best. To be very honest, underprivileged would be a whole lot better. I'll be right there. Just let me go to the restroom first. Washroom first. Did you hear that the management has laid off some people? Laid off, downsized, etc. This is out of my price range. Maybe I should consider buying a pre-loved car. Pre-loved is perfectly fine. When you're buying clothes from thrift shops, now what are thrift shops? Thrift shops are basically stores where they sell all of these clothes, second-hand clothes. Why? We will get into that. Let me explain that a little bit more. But Junaid, I hope this cleared it up for you. Instead of used, we'll say pre-loved. You'll say if you are going to if you have a second-hand car or second-hand book, you'll say it's a pre-loved book. It's a pre-loved. Somebody else had already had it. Now they are giving it to you. He's cheap. He's thrifty or frugal. I hope this is clear. Anybody else, any doubts, please tell me. Yes, Nikhil, your hand is raised. Anything you want to add, please unmute yourself and add.
No, I don't have any doubt, ma'am.
That's all right then. Thank you, Nikhil. I'll just lower your hand then. Okay. Junaid, anything else from your end? The
No,
word
thank
pre-loved.
you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I got it.
Thank you so much. You got it. Okay. Now, everyone, this is your time for you to ask if you have any doubts or anything that you want to speak about, anything about euphemisms, if you want me to explain a little bit more in detail or anything of that sort, please feel free to. I have one very interesting reading that I wanted you all to do. The reason why I do reading along with vocabulary, I'm sure you realize the fact that it's a sneaky way of testing your pronunciation, teaching you new words without just putting it on slides and saying this word means that. It's just because of that. So this is some exciting reading. We will just be reading the first paragraph. If anybody is up for it, please feel free to raise your hand. We'll just be reading the first point. Anyone? Junaid, yes, go ahead. You want to do the reading, right?
Okay. So shall I start?
Yes, just the first point.
Okay. Collaboration means two or more people working together to achieve a goal. Studies have found that working together makes people more motivated and helps them perform much better. People who are collaborating on tasks stay interested for longer, feel less tried and get better results than people who are working alone.
Yes, Junaid, very good. Tired. This is tired. I will chalk it up to things that you couldn't see clearly. That's all. But your S is still your enemy. Huh? Sir sound is still your enemy, huh?
Yeah, I know that. I know.
Thank you so much. No, that's okay. Don't worry. Don't be conscious. You're here to get better. You will. That's fine. Yes, Dalip. I'll just get back to you. Let me just explain what are some of the words over here and then I'll get back to you because this is the final reading. We are coming to the close of our session. These are some new words I want you to learn. Some new exciting words. Let's look at the first word. Collaboration. Now, what is collaboration? Working together. Dalim, if you want to add anything, feel free to add. You've raised your hand. Go ahead. Alan, unmute yourself and please add anything. Anything? Okay.
Ma'am, next point can I read?
Collaboration means working together, working in teams. Means two or more people working. Yes, Dali, tell me. Your hands were raised. Tell me.
Working together as a
Hello?
team, people to achieve
Yes,
things.
very good. Thank you so much. Working together as a team. That is what this word means. Collaboration. Collaboration. Now over here, whenever you see this word, studies have found. Now what are these studies that they're talking about? Scientific studies that a certain set of scientists or professors or researchers do. Okay? People who working together makes people more motivated. Now what is motivated? Josh to work hard, do things better, helps them perform much better. People who are collaborating on tasks, stay interested for longer, feel less tired and get better results than people who are working together. Yes, according to this study, the sentence that I have given you, they're talking about why people need to work together. Just like what we did today at the workshop, all of us work together to study something. Maybe from reading what I've told you to, asking your doubts, sharing your thoughts. What we are doing is very much a collaborative process. We are studying new things, we are learning new things. I will stop and I'm opening up the session for everyone to ask in doubts or speak up. You have some time to share your thoughts or anything, because from now we're going to have another exciting session. Another exciting speaker is going to come up. Okay, I can't wait to introduce this exciting speaker. But before that, I do want to know your thoughts or any doubts that you might have. Anyone? Anything to add? Talim, your hand is still raised. Anything you want to add, please feel free to add. This is the right time to do so. Anything to say, Talim?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
All right. Thank you so much. Anybody else? Any doubts or anything that you want to discuss about? Today, everyone is so quiet. This is surprising. This is very surprising because last time and the time before, we had a very chatty bunch. We spoke a lot, we discussed a lot and everything. So since my time is up, I would like to welcome our next speaker. The next speaker is Chintan. Now, Chintan sir is someone whom I'm very, very, very happy to introduce. Good afternoon, Chintan sir. It's very good to see you. I think I can say good afternoon now because it's only 6 more minutes to 12 o'clock. I would like to give a very short intro to him because he's going to be our next speaker. And I would like to talk a little bit about him. Chintan sir is someone who is very well experienced, someone who has been working in the field of, who's a CA, a chartered accountant, who has been working in this field with almost 8 years of experience. And yes, Nilanjana, yes, anything? I'm sorry, I got cut off midway through. Yes, Nilanjana,
Can you
your hand is
please
raised.
Can you please summarize one more time?
Summarize what?